Get ready for the Bob Graham Experience.
Dwayne Klassen is my interview guest today. He is a remarkable man, and we'll talk more about what that means and why in this episode. He also gives us some great insight into how to be an effective man with an effective family relationship, a fun, loving relationship, all those good things that you think might be a struggle if you're an entrepreneur or a business leader. It's really some great information, and he's going to give you the magic formula so you can have a great evening with your significant other. All that and more on this episode of the Bob Graham Experience. Here comes Dwayne. Hey, Dwayne, let's start with the most important thing. I saw a coffee cup or a mug there. What are you drinking? Come on. What's a remarkable man drink?
I have got an amazing cup of Colombian coffee. So okay, I'm enjoying this one. Is a little bit of high octane.
Added to that cream, sugar, other
It's a great question. I add a hazelnut cream mix to it, and because I'm trying to lower my sugar intake, so I don't take any sugar, but this has a natural sweetener, and so I'm enjoying coffee with a hazelnut tint.
That's my favorite coffee. So
right.
There's no other option. French vanilla is a poor derivative.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, we've already found common ground. I love it. So, Dwayne, I want you to walk us through how you got to this place. And I know it's an interesting story, and I know you probably tell it in like 10 seconds. I want to hear more this time because I've read about it a little bit, and there's a lot going on here.
All right. Well, to you and your viewers, I am in this space as a coach and a leader and a founder of an organization called the Remarkable Man Project. And this was born out of my need to step up and be remarkable. Going back to about 2008, I had everything. Everything in my life was on this uptick, Bob. I had the dream job. I was launching an outdoor advertising company to North America, and we were just scaling in Las Vegas for our American operation. Nice. I live in Calgary, Canada, and so to expand in the States was it's glorious. It's heaven here. For a Canadian company to expand into the U.S. it was a big thing.
Sure.
While this was happening, I had a 7-year-old son from a previous relationship, and I'm also in an engagement with the woman of my dreams. So as this is happening, within an 18-month period, I had what I call my perfect storm. And in that 18 months, I found out that my son wasn't mine. And while this is happening, I had manifested some less than honorable people to help me run my company. And we're talking at the C level. Went through a really nasty proxy battle. I had all the votes. I had everyone, but my VP of corporate affairs was a very high-powered lawyer, and he knew how to work the system. Okay. And so their whole focus, Bob, was to drain me financially through the courts. And they were using corporate funds. I was using my own funds. But I was tenacious. I stuck with it. But while this was happening, I mean, it was a nasty court battle. They were using methods and that I wouldn't wish on anyone. Okay. And when I found out about my son not being mine, I tanked. My energy, my sense of who I was, and being a dad was a big part of my identity, as it is with any father. And I'm in this relationship with an alpha woman. She was strong, she's beautiful, and when I came into her life, she had been like 10 years single, looking for a man like me. And so I came along and she's like, thank you. I've got my alpha. I got my king. Mm-hmm. And that allowed her to be the queen. It allowed her to be in her feminine energy where she longed to be. However, when this was all happening, I lost my edge. I lost my mojo. I lost a big part of who I was, because I felt I was just being spanked by the world. I just felt like, oh, God, how worse can this get? And as much as she
wanted,
wanted,
male in that situation, right?
Sure, right? And so I tried to figure out what was going on in my life, and I had really not found the elixir. Like, my God, I've lost it, and I could feel that I was losing her.
Okay.
As much as she was a support, I was really buying into this beta energy. And as I went into this beta energy, I was not able to hold the container in our relationship for her. And I literally went into the friend zone in what was once a very sexually dynamic, raw, open, incredible relationship. And so I ended up doing what most guys do to kind of salvage the relationship. We buy into this hallmark pop culture thing that says, buy the flowers, happy wife, happy life. And I just started being a yes man, whereas before I was making the decisions, I went, you know what, honey, you pick the restaurant. No, you pick the movie. You do the things that you need to do.
Because you lacked the confidence that you had before because of what was going on.
Right. And meanwhile, and I didn't know this, she's literally doing the gag reflex. Like, come on, where's my alpha? Make a decision. Right. I want to be mindful of my languaging here.
Be a man is what she's really
Be
saying.
a man. And so, and I didn't know that. For whatever reason, my disconnect was, this is what guys do, buy the flowers and yes, dear. And so, yeah. And then as I slid into this, she was secretly testing me all the time. And I thought these tests were her just being a bitch. I thought she was just being angry and entitled and not understanding my pain and all these other pieces. But it wasn't that. And so as much as I wanted to take her out and do these things, she didn't want to make the decisions. She really wanted me to own a part of me, which was to take command. So I ended up going in the friend zone, and she ended up getting, and she's playing at a very high level herself. Mm-hmm. So she ended up getting this incredible opportunity back east. I told her, listen, I'm this shit show that I'm in is not over yet. And so it's just, you got to do what you got to do. So Bob, there I was. 18 months later, I had lost everything, including the woman of my dreams. And I realized that, okay, if things are going to change, if it has to be, it's up to me. And I used to have a seminar company. And during that time, I met a lot of empowered people, both men and women. And I started observing. I went, wow, there is a women's group for every aspect of a woman's life. Right. And I'm going, so what do men have? When men are in the shit, what do men have as a mechanism for support? I started looking around and I couldn't find anything. And then a buddy of mine, he knew what I was up to, and he said, Dwayne, I know a guy that knows a guy, and he has a cousin that knows a guy that belongs to this men's group. You should check it out.
Was it really that far off?
It was, yeah, it was like one of these, on the down low. And so it was every cliche you could possibly imagine about what a men's group would be like. It was in a church basement, bare light bulb,
cigars,
12 guys.
Bourbon.
Yeah. And so there's these 12. Right. There's 12 guys in a circle, and everyone is commiserating about how bad their life is. And everyone was pointing fingers and blaming their circumstances, their wives, their girlfriends. No one wanted to take accountability. And I'm going, I don't want to stay. I don't want to languish in this ick energy.
Right.
And so it definitely wasn't for me. And then I was invited to a men's weekend. And it was the most misogynistic kind of energy. And hey, I'm all about rah-rah and I'm all about masculine frame. But I'm telling you, Bob, I saw 50 guys that were getting this energy about they're going to now go from, I'm just, so excited about changing my vibration, and I'm going to go home and I'm going to claim my queen. I'm going to just, she's going to now bow before me, and I'm in it. Oh, Bob, I could just imagine all these women go, oh, look at you. So now you're going to be my king, are you? Wow. How isn't that so cute? Oh, I could just see this. And I'm just like, okay, so here's my choices.
You're seeing it, Dwayne. Some of us have lived it in various phases.
Of course. And I'm like going, so these are my choices. I've got this church group or drumming naked in the forest. Okay. But then it was like a gift from God, and just boom, a download. Dwayne, you're going to create your own. And I was resistant. I said, hell no. You do see where I'm at, right? I am not your guy. Go pick someone else that's got his shit together. And, it was like, nope, you are going to be our guy. And so I just sat with that, and I realized that there could be a container here. And so it was, in fact, it was Les Brown. Les Brown, I was connected with him through a number of different organizations, and I was able to work with Les. And in one of my moments, we're on a call, and he said, Dwayne, you have so much remarkability within yourself. And if you're going to fall down, fall on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. And so I went, okay, remarkable. And he goes, yep, that's you. And so it was, I got to create. It was born. And so the Remarkable Man Project was born. And as I was doing that, I was doing research. And I went down a really big rabbit hole about my neurosis as to how I got to where I was. Okay. And as I was doing this research, Bob, I realized that, oh my God, we are in a global malaise of men. Mm-hmm. Men around the world are feeling more confused, more frustrated, more challenged as to what it means to be a man in today's world than ever before.
In some cases, emasculated, right?
Big time. And this is 2012. This is 2012. Okay. And since 2012, it has just exacerbated. And men now, the pendulum has swung. And so we've got a world of men trying to find their way. And every time they jump into this energy of being solid in their authentic masculine, then they're now told that they're toxic and wrong, or you're not keeping up with the times. And then we have women that are now acquiescing to a more masculine energy because they can't find it in their men.
There's a void and they fill it.
They have to.
Not intentionally, from what I understand, right? It's got to be done. Someone's got to pick the restaurant on Friday night, or else you're not going out to dinner, right?
That's exactly it, Bob. And now we have this clash, and it's a he said, she said, and now women and men are enemies. And it's like, what are you doing for me lately? And because men are now sold this idea that their masculinity is toxic, they're backing out, and they're doing exactly what I did back in the day. They're, yes, dear, whatever you want. And they're so afraid to step boldly into that decision making and owning their part in doing it. But the magic is in the piece where we as men have to be first. Don't allow the pop culture and the feminine energy, the confusion that feminine energy is, to cloud your judgment and how you step into
first, if you would.
So it's a big part of my coaching. Be first. And that is taking the initiative. Even though you feel that you're going to get some pushback, all that pushback is the test. And in men's work, it's called the shit test. Mm-hmm. And women do this. They do this all the time. But if you're in the friend zone, it's because you're failing the shit test all the time. So here's what you do, is that you feel in your body, you feel it, that something's off in your relationship. And it's usually resentment. There's some resentment bubbling up that things aren't right, or every time you say something, she's usurping her power. Resentment is like a compass. And it is so accurate that it points directly towards where your values and boundaries were not expressed. And so what happens is that you haven't expressed your values and boundaries. You haven't expressed how you don't express how you like to be treated, how you like, what respect means to you, how you operate. So you run on assumption, or she runs on assumption. But now she has strong values and boundaries. This is what it means to be in a relationship. This is what I want from a man. This is what I expect from a man. So if she's not getting that, she's going to assert her power and override. Okay. So a great example is you want to now be first. You know things are wrong, things are off kilter, and you go, okay, I'm going to take her out for dinner. I'm going to make some decisions. I'm going to make some plans, and we're going to write this shit.
Get out of my head. Come on, you're killing me.
So, okay.
I'm going to start crying soon.
You go, honey, we're going out tonight. I've made reservations, and I want you to wear that pretty dress, and we're going to go out tonight. Now, she's going to go, in her mind, she's going, oh, that would be nice. But her shit test comes up and she goes, this is not common behavior. This is not something I'm used to. So she needs to feel that this is real and authentic. So here's her response. Oh, no, I can't. I'm not feeling well. I got some cramps, and the kitchen's got to be cleaned. We don't have a sitter. Have you seen the garage? It's a mess. No way, we can't afford it. No, not tonight. No, it's not going to work. And what does he do? He goes, oh, well, okay, well, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Okay, well, do you want to just we'll get a pizza and we'll watch some Netflix and yes, that sounds better. That's okay. And he thinks he's done something right.
He would have been better to say, hey, I'll pick you up at 6:00. Be ready.
There you go, Bob. That's exactly that's what she's wanting.
I've learned something.
That's what she needs, brothers.
How much I'm learning. It's reinforcing.
So, that's the piece that she's aching for. Yes, she's acquiesced, but secretly she's going, shit. And what she wanted was, honey, little black dress, 7:00, get ready, go. Now she may even push back even more. No, we're not going. But now you put the smile on. Honey, grandma's coming over. She'll be here in 40 minutes. Right. Kitchen's clean. I got it all taken care of. Oh, have you seen the garage? Right. Awesome. Your black dress is on the bed. And those Jimmy Choos with the little red underneath, those ones too. Go, babe, go. And she's like, TikTok, let's go. And you're doing it with a smile, right? A little wry grin, and the twinkle in your eye. TikTok, babe, TikTok, let's go. And now she's like, oh my God, he's covered all the bases. I got no pushback. There's nothing. Oh my God, there, I see him. Now, here's the second part. She's dolled up. She's done. You're also the king. You're wearing that awesome blazer, that fitted suit. Yep. You're not wearing your favorite t-shirt and a Cat Diesel power hat. You know, this is not. You are dialed up because you're effing sexy for her. Right. What she likes to see in you. And the third point is this is not Arby's 2 for 1. No, you're taking her to a restaurant that's not in your 5 cycled restaurants. Right. Reservation, full on reservation. You're doing it all, opening her door, opening the restaurant door. You're sitting there, and now your work begins. You're here not to escape the family, the children, the routine. You're here to build sexual tension. Yep, have those great conversations, but hold her hand. Hold her hand. Tell her, honey, good Lord. Don't say you're beautiful and no, you're damn sexy. Wow. Look. Whew.
Can't stop looking at you.
I'm eyes up here. I get it. But man, and even flirt with her. Yeah, I know. I know it. This is it. This is for you, babe. This is all for you.
This is quite the guidebook we got going on.
And allow her to feel it. Feel her feminine energy, because you're not going home to kiss the kids goodnight and just go to bed after. Oh, that was lovely. No, you're going home to have great sex. Not sex, great sex. The sex you guys used to have that maybe has kind of got distilled over time. And it's utilitarian or routine or so infrequent that, yeah, you guys are almost roommates. You want to return to that sexual energy that, okay. And how you do that is when she truly wants that too. But she can't get there if she's anywhere near her masculine energy. Right. She needs to fully be in her feminine vibration. When she's there, trust is what's missing. She has lost her trust in you to be the king, to be in your masculine frame, because she's had to do it. She's had to be in that masculine energy. So this whole night is about her surrendering into her feminine, because you've taken that on. You're solid in your masculine. Like, okay.
So let me ask you a question, if I can.
You bet.
That sounds great. However, a lot of guys that will listen to this, probably a lot of women will say, well, that's really hard to do when you're trying to build a business. Building a business, you get punched in the face a lot. You have days where you are uncertain about your future. You don't have enough money to go out to dinner. And sometimes, I guess I can use me as an example, I would just like to go home and be cared for and told, hey, you know what? It'll be okay. You know what you're doing. You're better at this than you realize. I have faith in you. Does that come as a byproduct of that? Or is that an unrealistic expectation? Walk me through that, because I know there are guys going, that sounds really great, Dwayne, but how in the heck do you think I'm going to do that and build my business?
One of the main pieces that men need in a relationship is respect. And so you've got to find where you're getting that respect. And for people, men and women, that believe that they can separate the dynamics of the relationship and the dynamics of business, no, it can't happen. If you're dealing with a shitstorm in your relationship, that's going to bleed into your business, and vice versa. If things aren't going well in your business, you're going to take that into your relationship. So you've got to make yourself a priority first. And so the man and the
entrepreneurs aren't going to have great sex, is what you've just basically said to me.
When a man is on purpose, when a man is focused, when a man is creating that business from a place of purpose and passion, he will be in his authentic masculine. He can't help but be the king to his queen. It's only when the storm is happening and he's allowing circumstance to dictate how he's showing up. So now if the business is in trouble, he's not making X amount, there's whatever commas are on in the bank account, he is allowing that to permeate into the relationship. So when a man is on purpose, it is going to end up making him feel more alive and in his authentic masculine power. And this is what a woman sees. This is when a woman goes, that's my...
Of knowing they're doing what they're meant to do.
Exactly. And it's so sexy to women. It is so incredibly sexy to women when a man is on purpose. And here's the other piece too. Gentlemen, you do not need to have it all figured out. You do not need to have your business on fire. But what you do need is to be a man with a plan. So if you're not there yet, I believe it is Elena and Grant Cardone that I got this from, where they talk about a man and a woman when they're in a line with their king and queen energy. They're creating empires together. Okay. And when a man is on purpose and a woman sees that and she believes in what you're doing, she will be the wind in your sails. She will be your biggest fan. Okay. And she does not need to have you have it all figured out and perfection. This whole idea that you need to have, or the ability to make it rain for her to be happy. No, you need to be on purpose. So if you're not there yet, you're not crossing the finish line yet, enroll her into your plan. Say, honey, I know we're not there yet. I know things are tough. I know I said that we would be a little further along, or I thought I'd have a few wins by now, and we're not there yet. But honey, I've been working last night and I drew up this plan. And I believe that if we work this plan, that where we're at now, by Christmas, we could get here, or in 6 months or a year. Okay. This is my plan. And this is how I'm going to roll this out. Now she's got something. It's not this, nary-fairy wishful thinking. Right. It's a plan of action that you are taking. She can feel secure, and now she can also be a part of that, because women do want to be.
She knows what's happening.
She knows what's happening, and she knows the challenges that you're up against. Because so many women are clueless about what their husbands and boyfriends are going through on a day-to-day basis.
And vice versa, in fairness.
And absolutely. Absolutely. And so when we're clear with our beloved about what's going on and what needs to change and how we need to course correct, now we're on the same page. There's no more assumption. And we can support each other and move forward. And our wins and our losses don't become this thing we're taking personally, and we just dump it on ourselves. And now we're brooding. And she has no idea why we're brooding, or why we're quiet, or we're shut down.
Can I ask you a couple of different questions? I want to ask you one more question around the remarkable man. Define a remarkable man for me as briefly as you can.
A remarkable man is unique to every man, but it is his true calling. It is the man that is a champion to the women in his life. It is a hero to his children. It's a brother to each other. And it's a man that's claiming what the remarkable life for him truly looks like. And he's stepping boldly into that and removing all choices that this is it. I'm going to be the remarkable man for myself and the people that matter most to me. Okay.
Now, I want to shift gears pretty dramatically. You talked about your business and how it started.
I just need to plug my computer in.
Okay, that's fine. I'll talk for a second. So we're talking to Dwayne Klassen. The Remarkable Man, and he's got a great website, some free resources if you're trying to learn more. And he didn't set this up for me to give him a plug while he's doing this, although it's worked that way. So, Dwayne, I want to talk. One of the things I try to do, and I told you this before the program, is really get at how business people reach the level that they've reached. And you clearly know what you're doing. You're having some success. It sounds like you didn't always have that. So, can you help me understand that trajectory and some of the key steps and key points you had where you were like, I'm moving forward?
Well, for me in moving forward was in order for me to do this, I had to burn my boats at the shore. I had to reclaim what it meant for me to be remarkable. I had to understand that this bigness of what was possible for me was very real. It wasn't a fantasy, but it meant I had to let go of a previous Dwayne. That Dwayne had to die in order for this remarkable man to be birthed. And it was painful. I mean, I literally lost a way of being. And to say that that was my perfect storm and all of a sudden I am this remarkable guy, Bob,
that's how it works. I'm not.
It's still a journey. It's still a journey. I've been doing this work for 15 years, and I'm still waking up to the endless ideas of what being remarkable is. And I come to you, with chinks in my armor and bullet holes in my shield and all daggers in my back, you name it. It never ends.
So how do you confront those? You have them like everyone else. Because one of the things I hear all the time is you interview these people and you're talking to people who have great success. They don't have the problems I have. What would you say to someone who says that?
In these 15 years, I've worked with captains of industry. I've worked with people that you would consider to have it all. Like, how could they possibly have any problems and issues? They're living the dream. But the common denominator for all of us is that we're wearing a mask. We wear the mask that this is the persona I want you to see. But behind the mask, we all have our issues and challenges. And one of the most common neurosis in all my clients and all the groups that I've worked with is imposter syndrome. And you might think, how is that possible? They're living the dream.
I agree with you a whole lot.
Right? And I've had imposter syndrome,
And can you define that? Because some people don't understand that, or they have a definition of it that's different.
Sure. It is you being out of alignment, or feeling, more correctly, feeling that you're out of alignment with your highest calling. Or you'll get around a certain demographic that you deem to be better than you. And you think, erroneously, that they have no problems, no issues and challenges. But the reality is we're all walking around with our stuff, our stories, our dramas. And some of the people that you believe are so above you are dealing with a personal hell they would wish on no one.
Or a business hell.
Yeah, or a business hell. Yeah. And in fact, it is more prevalent. That's a great point, Bob. It's more prevalent because as men, we identify so much of who we are with our business. It's just
and we also have learned to lie. Hey, how's business? Yeah. Oh, it's great. Oh, it's growing. Oh, it's awesome.
Oh,
Please don't look at my bank account today. Please.
Right.
I'm begging you. Yeah.
Right. It is so pervasive.
And I would assume that's not being authentic by your definition, right? So if I'm telling you I'm doing marvelously in my business and I'm really not, does that go against being a remarkable man, or is that just part of it?
It's part of it. Because here's the piece to that is that a lot of men are wired to, think about it. If someone said, hey, Bob, how you doing? And you went, fine, usual. then they go, oh, okay. But if you actually went, well, you know what, Dwayne, since you asked, I'm not really doing very good at all. Most men aren't prepared for that. Because it's a pattern interrupt. And all of a sudden, I don't have the bandwidth for that. I'm not prepared for Bob's story or crap.
Oh my God, I thought I was the only person going through this. And now Bob, who I thought was really strong and powerful, he's got the same problems. Oh no, we're a group.
Right. So when we choose to be authentic, and regardless of what we think is going to come back, you will get a gift that is so incredibly powerful. One, you'll get a brother that truly will lean into the conversation, or two, you'll know that this is someone that you don't want to do business with anyway. Because at the end of the day, one of the most wonderful and beautiful indications of power and connection is that authenticity. And we have to start recognizing just how powerful being authentic is. Vulnerability is one of the greatest assets you can have. But we're sold this idea that, vulnerability, I can't go there. I can't reveal that side of me. And there's some truth to that. The higher you go up, the less they feel they can be vulnerable, because it can be used against them. And this is why the circle gets smaller and smaller and smaller as you get towards the top of the pyramid, because they feel they can't trust. They feel that, okay, if I really truly was vulnerable, somewhere down the road, it's going to be used against me, and they'll take my company, or my wife's going to have an affair or something like that.
Okay.
But there's a way for men to be vulnerable and powerful at the same time. Here's how you do it. Is that it's called going narrow and deep. Narrow and deep. So if you are going to share something very personal about your life, maybe even emote, maybe this person has asked you that right question and it just poked that vulnerability, and you just hadn't been able to express it for whatever reason. It is being shared, and all of a sudden all this emotion comes up, and you're doing your thing. Mm-hmm. Now, what gets men into trouble, especially in relationships, is that they will share and they're crying and they're sobbing, and it's which is a good thing. But a woman is prepared to go there. Finally, my guy is heart-centered and he's expressing his emotions, which all women want, to a point. To a point. What women want is you to figure your shit out and get through this. Because if you, as a man, languish in your emotional body for too long, there's this point where it gets into the ick energy. It's like, okay. And it's the same with men. So if you're sharing hurt, pain, struggle, go deep. Oh man, I can't believe this is happening. And I did this, or I effed up. I did this, and it's affecting me, or my dad said this, or whatever it is. Now you flip the switch. You've done this, and but you know what? Think, wow, I can't believe that came up, or I can't believe I was triggered like that. Wow. But I remember what Anthony Robbins said once, and he said, and whatever it was, and I know I need to apply that in my life. And
so
I know
reclaiming the position of power.
There it is.
Okay.
Yep. It's you getting deep into it, share, emote, but now you are aware of the value of emoting, but getting out of it. Now you're going from that feminine energy frame. Now you're moving back into that masculine. And now it gives everyone that, even if it was a man, a colleague, a superior, whatever. Okay, now I don't have to hold space for him, and I don't have to come up with a solution. I have to do the there thing.
On it, really, and it kind of,
right,
like you say, contains it.
It contains it. And now your beloved, she goes, oh my God, he was heart-centered. And now he reframed it and he claimed it. Oh my God, that's sexy. And she doesn't have to come to your...
They're not saying that really. It's going on in their head.
It's in their heads.
Yeah.
Trust me, she does want you to go there.
I didn't want anyone to think they were going to hear those words.
Right.
Sorry, you never know.
Right.
Dwayne, I'm curious. I've been wrestling a lot lately with the role of intuition in my business life. I've had some bad partnerships.
Yep.
I've made some decisions to do work with people where it's like, I would say when I was negotiating the contract with them, I don't know if this is a good idea. This feels off, but I need the money, so I'm going to do it. And so can you talk to me about where you see intuition in being a remarkable man and how that fits in general, and also how you've experienced, if you would?
Great question, Bob. Intuition is something that a lot of men are seeing it for someone else or for women, or it's like this airy-fairy idea. But intuition, I mean, it's essentially trusting your gut. This is trusting who and what you are. And the more you are moving into that energy of being the remarkable man, that intuition is always going to serve you. Now, I also subscribe to the idea that we're connected to a higher power. And intuition is source, God, the universe, however you want to describe it. It's trying to communicate to you. It's trying to give you the 100-foot view. And we're always protected. We're always running in concert with our higher power, with source. And so many men, myself included, we get caught up in this idea that we're a squirrel trying to get a nut, and we're all alone. We're all alone in this big world, and we've detached ourselves. And so whenever we're challenged with something, tap in. And this is truly the journey to the remarkable man. You're starting to trust that inner voice. You're starting to trust that gut. You'll feel it right there. You'll feel it in your solar plexus. And the more you trust the connection to all that is, the I am that's inside you, it will always serve you, always serve you. So the next time that you are in a process of making a decision, try it with something small where you don't have to get to where Bob was at, where it was like a big situation,
right,
that could go sideways on you. Well, start with something small and just tap in. Is that my you'll feel it.
Bourbon, are you suggesting, or something a little bigger than that?
It could be Jenner bourbon. It could be what would serve my relationship right now? What would be a great deposit that I could make in my relationship tonight when I get home? And just tap in. What would really be a great deposit into the relationship?
In terms of some of those vices, like alcohol, like drugs, like pornography, some of those other things that many men use to escape their world, their reality, where does that fit into the remarkable man framework, or is that just separate?
Oh, it's so on point, Bob, because all those vices, all they are distractions. And those distractions are you being afraid of your true, authentic self and being able to step boldly into the bigness of who you are. And so anytime that you are fighting against a vice, it is taking you out of the game. And so your ego is saying, who are you to be remarkable? Who are you to be in a loving, nurturing relationship? Who are you to have success? Who are you to have a kick-ass bank account and happiness? So you're running on a wound of your past. and it is controlling your now. So you have a great excuse to play small. And if it's alcohol, if it's drugs, it's porn, we will fight for our limitations. It's just like, oh no, it's not that big of you're making it into a big deal. It's not. And we will fight for that limitation instead of fighting for what we truly want. Our higher self is always going, in your own divine time. You have to learn from pain. We get it. Yep, continue as you were.
When you work with a man, typically how long is it before they identify themselves as remarkable? And is it different than when you would identify it for them?
Oh, yes. Because a man will identify himself as a remarkable man from right out of the gate and then realize that, not always, but they'll realize that it is like, oh my God, okay, here it is. And so we always start, and it's like being in a relationship where you start and everything's perfect, everything's wonderful, and you're finishing each other's sentences. And that's essentially what's happening with a man that's claiming his remarkable self, that he has a great relationship with that new idea, that new possibility. And it's like, oh my God, it's super exciting. But now realizing that, oh shit, it takes some work, or I'm not authentic with this yet. So now we'll start on a high and then we work down and we go into the pit. And so there's a 5-step process to actually becoming the remarkable man. And for some men, it is a 3-month period, and they're feeling it. And we have to go into maintenance mode. Okay. But it's usually 6 months because there's these challenges. And a year, it could be 2 years. I've got 3-year clients. And it is an amazing experience.
How do their careers go while they're going through that process? Do they go upward as they start to understand it, or does it bottom out in that process?
It can bottom out depending on their neurosis, their challenges, because it has to bottom out. It has to go to a place where I call it. So we have, as I mentioned before, the plan. So that's step 1, the plan. What does the remarkable man for you look like? Okay. And so every aspect of him, how does he walk? How does he talk? What does he dress like? What does he drive? What is his relationship like? What is his home environment like? Where does he travel? What does an amazing, remarkable vacation look like?
Do
all
guys
the
have
pieces.
Trouble doing that typically? Because I would struggle to see that vision. That would take a long weekend for me to really put it down.
Oh, it is.
Because to put it on paper means that's what I'm trying to achieve. And like you said, small ball and big ball. You know, I'd like a beach house. I've said that now for the last 15 years. I've said it publicly. That seems like a big get to me, a huge get. So
right.
If I put that down on a sheet of paper, now I'm judging myself against it, and other people can.
So that becomes
I think you're going to give me a little coaching now. I was trying so hard not to.
So the point of that is, and you do have several days. In fact, you have a week to figure it out, and get very granular with all these aspects of your life: body, being, balance, and business, everything. You just get really granular with that. And what a lot of men find is that in the discovery, we will go into what's coming up for you. What were the blocks? Why is the beach house or the vacation home? Why is that a story of the unattainable? What part of you is saying that? Who's talking when you say you can't have a beach house? Who's talking?
That sounds painful.
And so, okay. So in the process, now we have the plan. Now I use a construction analogy. Most men can really identify. So imagine, if you will, you're walking in a city. You've all seen the empty lot, right? The empty lot. And It's all fenced off, and it says future home of Oasis Towers, right? And they've got an architectural rendering, beautiful tower that's going to go up. Well, it's not there yet because it's still in the planning phase, right? And it's going through city hall. All the licensing, all the zoning, all has to be taken care of, and perhaps it's still in the developer or the land, the architects, and they're still trying to work out the details. But now, after the planning phase, the land, they have to go into the dig. And this is the second phase. It's called the dig. And you're digging out all the dirt. And in some cases, you may have heard, remember the show that was America's Extreme Home Makeover?
Yes.
Well, that was a famous show because it wasn't just about the build. It was about the transformation of a dilapidated home that represented a lot of pain for the family. It was downtrodden, maybe roach infested, the growing family, it was just too small, whatever. The house had to be torn down right to the foundation and beyond. Foundation had to be taken out because the foundation could not support the new dream home. Okay. And you always see them they send them away on a vacation. They send them away because
they put the bus in the way of
they'll put the bus in the way, but they'll also show them on a laptop. They said, hey, they got the diggers, they got the excavators and the cats, and they're about to bulldoze. Well, they're going to bulldoze the house down. Yep. And even though the house represented pain and suffering, they're emotional as they watch their house being completely torn down because there's an attachment to it. And that's why the family is removed, so that they can remove what was old and not have the emotional attachment. And it's the same with the dig. Can we remove some of the old stories? Can we remove some of the neurosis and the shadow work that needs to be done to get down to however deep we need to go? Now remember, the higher you're going, the deeper the foundation has to be.
Right.
And so we're digging. And in the dig phase, it can be a month or two. We're digging. We're bringing up all kinds of stuff. And it's usually the resistance to being remarkable.
Right.
So we're digging it up. And now we're going to get to the bottom. And if you were the observer, hard hat on, and you're looking down, what obstacles are here that are going to prevent us from putting the crane pad in and start building our foundation? And it usually will be, we dug it all out, but I'm going to F up this journey because I still have an attachment to that. Mm-hmm. And so now we got to work on that. So then our third phase is the foundation.
Okay. And
the foundation, concrete, cement, is measured in integrity.
Okay.
So like a sidewalk has a different integrity than a pillar of a big tower.
Sure.
It has a different integrity than a foundation of a 3-bedroom home. So you have to figure out how much integrity you're putting into this foundation. How real is the remarkable man and the remarkable life you want to be? And we got to put the rebar in. We got to do all these things. And now we're creating this foundation. And that foundation is pivotal. The foundation of your relationship, the foundation of your fitness, your health, foundation of you being a father, and now we're starting to build. Because once we get to lobby level, and now we're in,
quick, right?
Things start to move, right? And so the fourth phase is the build.
Okay. I could listen to you explain this for the rest of my life, but I want to do two things. I want to do what I call the Bob Graham experience, which is where I'm going to ask you 5 questions I ask everyone. But before that, I want to give you a couple of minutes to talk about whatever you want to talk about, because I've steered this interview. I want to give you a platform. I'm going to try to be quiet. You can pitch your services. You can tell us about something you're doing that we can get involved in. you can, I don't know, you can sing the Star Spangled Banner if you so choose.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
All right. Okay. So one of the greatest pieces that I can leave your audience with is that no matter where you're at in your life right now, the most important relationship you need to have is the one with yourself. And I say this to, because men are primarily my focus, but I also work with women because women are recognizing that they too are in their masculine and they want to learn how to be more in their feminine and understand men on a deeper level. And sure. I seem to have a superpower in that area.
There you go.
So looking into the mirror, and this is a great example. So this glass arguably is about 2/3 full. Mm-hmm. So imagine for a moment that this is love. This water represents love. We're conditioned to believe that I'm going to get into a relationship and she's going to pour her love into my cup. Mm-hmm. And it's going and now I feel love. Now we're connected. So she pours 50% of her cup into another cup and you do the same. Now we've got a relationship. That's erroneous because what you're just creating is romantic love. And that's what we're conditioned. Romantic love is conditional. So if you don't pour enough water into her cup or vice versa, you're not feeling love and connection. And now it becomes, what have you done for me lately? And hitting the bar and doing all these different things. And we have these expectations. However, if you come to the table and fill your cup fully with your love, fill it fully, and you're feeling that energy that, okay, I feel remarkable. I love myself. I truly do. And you can look yourself in the mirror, into your pupils, and say, I love you. One of the hardest things for a man to do. Truly is. Some of them were, yeah, it truly is, because who am I to love myself? That's so selfish, or that's ego driven. It's like, oh, look at him. He loves himself. That's not what this is. It is your connection to source, as we talked about before, and having that intuition. It's the same. You love yourself as God, universe intended. So as you love yourself, you become this cauldron of personal power. You become so heart-centered, even though you can be in your masculine energy. And now she can show up. And what you're giving her is the spillover. You love yourself so much, and she receives the spillover. And now it becomes unconditional love. Okay. She can show up in her divine. She can show up in her chaos. She can show up and you can just go, I hear you, babe. I get you. Do you want me to fix this, or do you want me to just listen and support you? Okay, fire away. And this is where you're at. Because you love yourself, she can show up as crazy and weird and in your face, and you're good. But imagine how this shows up in your business when you're with clients, when you're with your colleagues and associates. Show up at a meeting and you're looking at them and you're owning your power. Right. You're just truly centered in your power. You do. I see it in you. So are you ready? I'm going to test your power. All right, let's do this. Experience. Here we go. 5 questions. Try to give me 1-sentence answers. If you have to go over, it's okay. You ready? Number 1, what's the last thing you read? Think and Grow Rich, Volume 4. Yeah, I think it's like the 4th edition. Okay, nice. Your most important inspiration? It is, I believe it is, You Don't Get What You Want, You Get What You Are by James Allen. Okay, I like that. That's good. What's your biggest daily challenge? My biggest daily challenge is I'm doing 75 hard right now, which is an amazing fitness challenge. And it is just getting out of my head, just getting out of the story that I can't and just pushing forward.
Okay, and what's your guiding principle?
Love myself. Just love myself first so that I can love others.
Awesome. And then the last question, what's a skill you didn't know you had that you rely on now?
Oh, that's a great question. Empathy.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
I got good news for you, Dwayne. Not only are you a remarkable man, but now you're a remarkable man that has actually survived the Bob Graham experience. Thank you. Thank you, Dwayne, for this. This was really great. You reinforced some things I've been studying in the last couple of years, and you took it a little further. I'm indebted to you. I know most of the guys watching this, listening to it, are going, wow, this was really useful. How can they get in touch with you most easily?
Bob, this has been a great conversation, and I'm honored to be on your program. I truly am. I love the container that you've created. They can reach me at dwayneklassen.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. And you could also join the Remarkable Man Project on the school platform. And we've got a great community there that we've just started. And I'm also on YouTube. So I'm everywhere. So you can just Google Dwayne Klassen in the search bar, and I'm there.
Awesome. Thanks again, Dwayne. We'll stay in touch. Best to you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
That was the Bob Graham Experience. Want to be a guest and experience it for yourself? Visit thebobgrahamexperience.com to get on the list. And of course, please rate us and listen to other episodes wherever you had the Bob Graham Experience. Until next time.